With a measure of unease tempered by curiosity, I do as she says and lower the blindfold over my eyes. The world becomes dark once again. I reflexively tense as I feel Lily's hand gently brush the side of my face, entirely unable to anticipate her touch. I really need to get more used to contact like this. Even after the weeks we've been going out, it isn't as natural for me as it is for her. Why is it not natural for you, Hisao? Why are you not holding hands, doing more casual contact? Silence? Hey, Lily? Shh. I obediently follow her instruction and quietly listen, trying to make out something, anything that's happening around me. Compared to before when I was chasing Lily, the need to carefully navigate the room's obstacles is now gone. I take my time and concentrate much harder on listening. It takes a while, but I can eventually pick out the soft sound of her breathing in the otherwise dead silent room. In, out, in, out. Measuring it against my own breathing, I realize it's definitely deeper than normal, especially for her. Ooh, I think I know what she's doing. Another sound makes its way to my ears, one that I can't identify immediately. I don't think I've heard it before, but I think I can guess. My heart skips a beat as I realize the source, my hand almost reflexively reaching out towards it. Must touch! Oh gosh. Her face feels softer than usual under my touch, her head just barely turning acknowledgement towards the fingers on her cheek. Hisao. I gulp and take a moment to try and calm down. I need all the concentration I can muster while I'm like this in order to fully take in my surroundings. After a few deep breaths, I think I've managed to collect myself. With a touch so light that it wouldn't disturb a feather, I start to move my hand down her body. I can feel myself losing focus again, thanks to those thin silken pajamas of hers resting so perfectly over the curves of her body. If she's like this, then that means she has to be sitting against her bed facing me. Now, to continue. Alright, this must be her hip. If I just move slowly downwards. Lily's breath catches as my hand comes over hers, tentatively following her fingers between her legs and losing them as they go underneath her underwear. Just the slightest moisture touches my fingertips, but it's enough to easily work out what she's doing. My mind suddenly fills with visions of what she must be like in front of me right now. I've never even imagined her doing this before, and being unable to see her doing the act only enhances the mood. Oh, cheater! Cheater! You just totally I worked the blindfold upwards, brushing out of my eyes a couple of hairs that were stuck to the ribbon before. For a period of time I can only guess at, my mind goes completely blank. All I can do is stare as my newly freed eyes take in everything in front of them. Ooh, gonna have to edit some a little bit. Just as I'd worked out, Lily sits in front of me. With one hand on the ground to steady herself and the other's fingers slightly brushing between her legs, hidden by her dark blue underwear. I think it's the most erotic sight I've ever seen. Once again I reach out and brush her hair from her face, her chin tilting outwards as she fills her pleasure-wrapped body with another breath of air. Lily? Lily looks oddly cute as she smiles at my calling of her name. It always seems like it's at the moments when she's least attentive that she lets her most interesting emotions slip out. It's not long before she works her fingers over herself faster than before, her excitement evidently rising, the scent of her sweat in the air only echoing that fact. I sit in front of her. It's hardly as if my own arousal's holding still. It's taking every fiber of my being to let her continue by herself instead of pushing myself on top of her like the brute I am. It's strange. I initially found her clouded eyes to be distracting, almost disturbing in their lack of focus. This bothers me far less than it used to now. My attention refocuses on her as she lets out a whimper, her breath coming much faster than before and her hips subtly rocking. No sooner do I realize how close to the edge Lily has become that her breath catches. Her eyes clasp shut as every muscle in her body seems to contract. She unmistakably reaches her climax. For only a scant few seconds, she tightens, huddled in ecstasy before her body relaxes, and a long drained sigh comes from her lips. I don't know, it's something about having a guy watch them masturbate really just, I don't know, really turns them on, so I'll watch. I just have no idea what to say. Silence reigns while I simply watch her, her hair hanging over her face as she sits exhausted. Hisao. She reaches out to brush my face, my urge to take complete control over my body. Without so much as a second thought, I push myself over her frame. It's an unusual feeling being like this. I feel oddly powerful, holding myself above her blank face, as though for the first time since the action so long ago I feel physically strong. Lily, I want you. To my surprise, she smiles weakly before reaching upwards to feel the side of my face. It's an almost cheeky expression, of the kind which she usually gives only after getting something out of me. You wanted me to do this? She holds her smile and gives a silent nod. She always comes in with the plan. Every single time she has a purpose, and she achieves it every single time. I guess it was an effective way to make me take the initiative for once. And again, to my surprise, she gives the ribbon still around my head a sharp tug downwards, so once again, I'm lost in complete darkness. Blackness. I told you to keep it on, didn't I? That teasing edge to Lily's voice punctuated by her breathing. She never seems to lose her ability to take control of the situation. But this one time... He's out, what are you... I slide my hands underneath her, soft silken skin pressing into my hands as I gently raise her body with a measure of difficulty. Lifting another person up is hard. It's heavy. They're heavy. I don't care how small or big they are. Lifting another person physically up, especially in the way that Hisao is doing it, puts a lot of strain on the back. Now, don't get me wrong, in the heat of the moment, it's romantic as hell, but it really does a number on your back. While I wouldn't describe her as heavy, her height makes her more than a handful to try and lift. It only takes a couple of carefully placed steps to feel the edge of her bed against my legs, my lowering of Lily onto her sheets just as gentle as when I raised her. Your bed will be more comfortable than the floor, right? Always the gentleman, aren't you? I quickly run my hand down Lily's long, shapely legs, their allure far from diminished without the luxury of sight. I pull off her pajama shorts and underwear from her ankle. I have no idea where those just went. Pooh! Just threw across the room. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. They'll be somewhere around. With a minimum of fuss, I shuffle down my own pajama trousers and underwear. Position myself between her legs, or at least where you think her legs are. Or at least where I think is between her legs. With one hand on her bed to steady myself, my right moves tentatively downwards. Whoops! My first contact with her is my palm clumsily meeting the front of her nose. Oh, gosh! She giggles a little before turning her head sideways. Taking my cue, I gently cradle her cheek and use my thumb to feel the contours of her face, as she so often does with me. I just noticed my camera was off. This would be a lot easier if she wasn't moving her face into my hand, but the feeling of her nuzzling into it is nice. I swallow to try and steady myself, take my other hand from the bed, and use it to guide myself into her. As soon as I feel her warmth around me, I quickly realize just how turned on I am. With my sight gone, I'm free to concentrate far more on my other senses, including tactile feeling. The entire experience feels more vivid, more intense than it's ever been before. I slowly start to move my hips back and forth, my heart beating wildly in excitement. I feel Lily's eyes clenching shut, the movement of her cheek under my thumb reminding me of the gentle hold I have on the side of her face. It's hard to stop myself from being completely overwhelmed. It's hard to think that this is what sex is usually like for her, experienced through every sense but the one I hold dearest. From her cheeks to her neck, I begin to slide my hand downwards to take in the feeling of her body. The contours of her collarbone, the light dew resting on her skin. My sense of smell is stimulated by the scent of her sweat and mine hanging in the air. Even the ambient smell, noticeably different from that of my own room, adds to the feeling. Oh, it's getting kind of steamy here. Some good writing. I moved my hand to her supple breast. Then the writing went downhill. Her soft mewing fills my ears along with the sounds of our act. The skin under my hand moves back and forth with each thrust, my grip on it tightening as my lust for the near naked body of Lily before me grows. I can even feel her small nipple against my palm. My hand slides further and my fingers pluck it through the thin silk of her pajama top. Her whimpering sounds turn to moans as she fills with the same pleasure as I. I can feel my heart beating loudly in my chest. Careful now, Hiso, this could be a problem. Her own beating underneath my hand. I can feel her hand clasp my wrists, the grip surprisingly tight as her chest rises in overwhelming pleasure. More. I want more. Oh no! I can feel my chest tightening as I rock back and forth frantically, both of us entirely taken with ourselves. You better slow down, Hiso. Nothing that unusual, just need to take deeper breaths to steady myself. This feeling is just normal. Can't stop. I'm close. I'm right there. Please don't do this to me, heart. Nope, the heart's gonna do it. Ah. This isn't. I can't. This pain is too much. Arrgh! I stumbled backwards from Lily with unseeming haste, clumsily hitting the back of my foot against the table and falling to the ground with an unceremonious crash. Breathing wildly, I frantically scrape at the ribbon over my eyes as I lay on my back. I have to get this off. I have to get this off. For a moment, everything goes blank. As the rush of newfound light assaults my eyes, my breathing slows from the brink of hyperventilation. Wow, that could have ended better. Seconds pass, and I carefully measure out the rhythm of my heartbeats with every ounce of concentration I can muster. My heart is normal. It's back to normal. My body feels utterly bizarre as I lay dazed on the floor looking at the ceiling. The adrenaline from before is still pouring through my veins, but my mind is completely exhausted. I prop myself up as I hear Lilly getting off the bed and coming towards me. Hisao, are you okay? Hisao? Fine, Lilly, I'm fine. She gives a sigh of relief, her worried expression collapsing. Her face afterward is the very last I'd ever want to see from her. It's a face I detested when I first saw my parents in the hospital all those months ago. Pity. Lilly pities me. I just close my eyes and turn away powerless. I feel like throwing up. I can hear the sound of Lilly moving away and quickly attending to herself. The ruffling of her clothing being pulled back on after a moment of searching, just barely audible. Sorry. She slowly shakes her head as she finishes buttoning up her top. Her kind smile looks so fragile, so delicate, that it makes my heart sink. Approaching carefully, she feels at the edge of the low table before taking a seat next to me, putting her arms around my chest. I'm sorry, Hisao. I shouldn't have pushed my desires onto you. You don't need to apologize. I'd normally be fine. You've seen that much before. I guess I just shouldn't have tried to push myself so far. My eyelids feel heavy. Calmly sitting next to her like this is probably letting the adrenaline work itself out of my system and letting my mind relax. So that's why you never took the lead? Yeah, I guess it's a good thing you like to, huh? The joke seems to lighten her expression a little, a fact which helps let me feel less unease about my unreliable self. Lily's head comes to rest on my shoulders. I struggle to keep my eyes open. With more difficulty after each blink, I feel completely drained. It's okay, Hisao. It's all okay. No sooner does she say this than a small, quiet tune escapes her lips. Entirely too tired to think, all I can do is listen to her soft humming. It's soft, almost a melancholic tune. It sounds familiar, but the more I try to remember its origin, the less I seem to be able to concentrate. The feeling and scent of her head gently resting on my shoulder and her warm body against my side are soothing. The soft hum of her voice relaxes my mind as much as her warmth relaxes my muscles. The singular quiet moment after all this fracas. Again, there's that word, right there. Makes me realize just how exhausted I've become. I can feel my eyelids becoming heavier and heavier. Even with the chaos of before, I wish this moment would last forever. Lilly and I together, sharing a single solitary occasion together, just as we'd used to. But if that's the case, why does she feel further away than she's ever felt before? There's something not right with Lilly right now, and I just can't put my finger on it. So we're gonna make a quick, wow, big slam. I heard that, big slam of a door or something. But yeah, we'll get back to the library as it is. I guess we just either spent the night in her dorm room or went to bed. We probably spent the night in her dorm room, and it's probably now the next day. But yeah, this is definitely weird behavior on Lily's part. She's wanting to rush certain things, and she's trying to move ahead and trying to experience a lot more with the relationship at a faster pace, despite the fact that she said she wanted to slow down like a week or two ago. So something must have set her off on this little weird behavior. So, but wow, that really sucks for Hisao, where he was getting it good, he was getting it on, and then the heart was just like, nope, not gonna do it. The heart just failed you. I feel bad for Hisao. That would really suck. That is a complete mood killer, and a possibly life killer too. Anyway, that was interesting. We'll find out what happens in the aftermath of this particular fracas. See y'all later in the next video.